All right, now you have to be careful with credit cards because even though they sound awesome, you can buy whatever you want to. You've got to be really careful with overspending. Now, there are advantages to credit cards. You, one, get to use the product before you actually have paid for it. That's always nice. The responsibility is an effective way to build a good credit score. So if you are responsible when using your credit card, you pay it off each month, you're not charged interest, it actually builds credit for you and gives you a better credit score than not having a credit card. Kind of interesting. They do sometimes offer consumer protection. If for some reason there is a dispute or a fraudulent something on your account, a lot of times the credit card companies have protection for you that'll make it so that you're not charged. They provide a source of temporary emergency funds. If an emergency comes up, you get a flat tire, you don't have cash or the funds to pay for it, you can always put it on a credit card right away for that emergency. It may provide amenities such as free miles toward airlines or cash back or whatever the promotional thing that credit card is offering in the moment. I know that I've used credit cards for both, where I have charged as much as I can, my normal groceries, gas, all of those things. I pay it off in full at the end of the month, and I've gotten free airline tickets. I've gotten a huge cash back check at the end of the year that I'll use for Christmas. And so if you're responsible with it, you can actually get some good benefits from using a credit card. Now, you've got to be careful. Interest rates are very high on unpaid balances, so you've got to be careful with some of your interest rates. Actually, I used to work at Discover Card before I became a teacher for a long time, and I've seen interest rates as high as 25, 26%, which is really, really, really high. And so when you don't make your minimum payment, if you're late, or if you just make your minimum payment and you don't pay it off in full, you are paying a lot of money extra to have that balance on that credit card. So you've got to be careful. It is very easy to overspend. It is nice to be able to just pull out that credit card and buy whatever you want to in that moment, but it is can get kind of scary and out of control if you're not careful. So be careful. It can also get you into some financial trouble if you're not careful, which could actually ruin your credit for a really long time. There is a minimum payment trap, they call it, where if you just make the minimum payment, it will take you a really, really, really long time to pay off that credit card. You could be stuck in that loop for a really long time. So be careful. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about in this section is credit reports and credit scores. If you are a young college student, it might be unlikely that you have credit history if you don't have credit cards yet. Once you apply for your first credit card, though, your personal credit report will begin. A credit report contains the following information. You have identifying information. This includes your name, social security number, your address, and any previous addresses you had. A record of credit accounts, so any account, either opened or closed credit accounts that you've had in the past. Accounts that were open, any of the latest balances, and your payment history on those accounts. Any public record information, so things such as bankruptcy, stuff like that, are also in your credit report. Collection agency account information, so any unpaid accounts that have been turned over to collection agencies are also listed in your credit report. And then also any inquiries. This is where companies ask for your credit information because you've applied for credit. So if you go to apply for a car or another credit card or any sort of loan, they put an inquiry on your credit to check your credit report, and those also show up. And too many inquiries in a short amount of time could actually lower your credit. So organizations known as credit bureaus collect credit information on individual consumers and provide credit reports to potential lenders, employers, and others upon request. The three main credit bureaus are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and you can get your credit report from the three bureaus free by going to annualcreditreport.com. So you can kind of see what your credit report is, maybe what your credit score is, and see how you're standing. Credit bureaus use data from your credit report to create a credit score, which is used to measure your credit worthiness. Credit scores, or FICO scores, range from 300 to 850, where the higher of your score indicates your better credit. The lower your score is bad credit. So you can kind of see in the table the different ranges and what they might mean for you depending on where your credit score is. The lower your score, it says here, the less likely you are to be approved for loans, mortgages, anything like that. So you've got to be careful. The higher your score, though, you get the best interest rates on all of your loans. And so if your credit score is really low, chances are you will not be able to get a loan, or if you do, your interest rate is going to be really, really, really high. So the better your score, the better you're going to be in the long run. So you have to be really careful and financially responsible to make sure that you have good credit.